monitors, South African Report 2015 and 2016, entrepreneurial intentions among South Africans has dropped by almost 30% in 2015 when compared to 2013 and almost halved when compared to 2010. Yet the perceived entrepreneurial opportunities has increased over the same period. Despite these daunting statistics, we decided to profile youth entrepreneurs, and we start with young Tumisang Moshoane from Protea in Soweto and its Tsa Kasi brand.
Basically, the brand Tsa Kasi. As you can see, the logo, it's the famous, I think, all over the locations, where the handshake will be the combining of the fist. Hence the name Tsa Kasi. So I created it because where at any township that you go to, I mean, that handshake, the person you're greeting will respond in the same way. They won't be surprised how it's even when tourists come through, they actually want to learn that handshake. So Tsa Kasi is the brand. And then I wanted to create something that will be able to sell in all the locations. I want Sky Excluder and then say Soweto or Protea or anything. But then going forward, I sold the logo as the actual print, and then I needed to add on people would actually want something more. People are actually asking for something more. You wouldn't want to buy the same thing over and over and over again. And I had one guy one day in Replome, like Soweto Kaslam. I was talking about that. Like, it would be nice to print a t-shirt and Soweto Kaslam. But then there need to be something. It was Soweto Kaslam stand out. So obviously Soweto, with all the townships, and Soweto being Soweto, it's famous for everything that has been happening in Soweto, especially Sosele Youth Month, June 16. We always celebrate it every year. So I like, okay, how can I make all these locations, 32 locations, Mabitwa Kaufela, into one thing, as Soweto Kaslam. And then one morning, looking at a search puzzle through magazines and everything, like, man, this actually would work for Soweto Kaslam. If I can take all the names, that location, put it together, and then have Soweto Kaslam as another t-shirt to sell. So it started off as t-shirts. Yeah. It was a gift. I could say it was a gift that I always had it from an early age. Reason saying so is because my grandmom, she was a seamstress. Yeah. So the same mentality that my granddad had, that he wasn't going to allow his wife work as a seamstress for the rest of her life. He actually bought her sewing machines, and this is one of the sewing machines that I'm using. That was used by my grandmom. Yeah. Actually bought her sewing machines. From 1 to, we ended up having 6 sewing machines. So my aunts, my mom, they started a small family business doing alterations, doing garments for events. So ever since I was young, I grew up in an environment whereby I knew my grandmom and my aunts, they're sewing. And I'd actually ask to clean up their workspace for a bit of cash. Beginning of winter, one guy actually said, in Fetu, by the way, do you still do your sweaters? And I had a guy who had, I just made a suit for him, one suit, like a month. It wasn't even enough to survive. And then I'm like, yeah, I can print for you, Called up my supplier, like, hey, do you have sweaters? I said, no, I still have last year's stock, but I'm waiting for stock. Bought the sweaters, sold it to him, posted it on Facebook, and then one of my friend Topa, the Rutla, he actually made it viral. He was sharing it every day, tagging people. And then that's when it started now, like, hey, people are actually following this.
Wow, some young people doing amazing things. Now, South African designer Adrian Furstenberg's creation has earned him an accolade at the 10th Annual Independent Handbag Design Awards in New York on Youth Day. The East Rand Board designer among the top 40 finalists selected from more than one